You have to ask yourself, what do I want to achieve and why is it important to me? It is not about being perfect. It is about living in alignment and moving with purpose.
We never land cause we stay fly. I'ma be a bitch for life. If they try you.
Have you been bed rotting, just scrolling, thinking about all of the things that you want to get done, but your anxiety can't seem to scream loud enough for you to get out of bed and actually accomplish those things? If that's the case, there's no need to worry, because clicking on this video was the first step, and I'm going to teach you the next 7 to get unstuck, get out of survival mode, and unfuck your life. I do have some notes here, so I'll be looking down a bit throughout the video. Before I get into the tips, I just want to start by saying, if you have breath in your lungs, I'm so happy that you're alive. Please keep going and don't give up. I myself have definitely found myself feeling stuck. Around my birthday recently, I have been feeling super good the days leading up, and then I made a mistake that ended up pushing my progress a bit back with how I was feeling mentally and emotionally, and my mental health just declined. And I kept using substances to cope with what I was feeling, and the substances that I was using were depressants or stimulants that would have other effects that would end up making me feel worse. So it just became a very vicious cycle, and all I was doing was dissociating and coping with maladaptive mechanisms. If you're doing the same thing, I'm telling you right now, stop. Baby, whatever your vice is, I need you to take a moment, take a breath, pause that cycle, because what you really need to do is this first step, which is be present. You cannot be present and dissociate at the same time. The next time you feel some negative emotion coming up, what you have to do is, instead of reaching for the junk food, instead of reaching for that sneaky link, instead of reaching for that joint or that liquor, what you need to do is pause and say, self, what am I feeling right now, and why am I feeling this way? Once you're able to be present with yourself and sit with your emotions, you need to identify your triggers, which is step number 2. I like to do this by starting out with asking myself the question, when did I start feeling this way? Because that will always tell you a lot. There are a couple different ways that you can identify your triggers. One of them is using the magic wand method. I love this method. Okay, so when I was in therapy one time, my first meeting with my therapist at the time, and she said, if I gave you a magic wand and you could bippity boppity boo your life into its ideal image, what would it look like? And that's the exact question I need you to ask yourself, because I know that sometimes when we get depressed, we lose the hope that things could be better. But I need you to think to yourself, if things were better, what would that look like? This is really going to help with pessimism, because again, when you're depressed, all you're thinking about is negatives, and everything is an extreme negative. So to get your brain to think an extreme positive is going to be a huge leap that is really needed. And when you're using the magic wand method, you want to be very thorough, almost like with manifesting something. If you're praying for something or asking the universe to bring it into fruition, then you're going to want to be specific about every little detail. Instead of speaking something negative into existence, you are identifying what it is that you want to change. And this will begin the process of you doing the things to become in alignment with those desires. But first, you have to identify what it is you want. Another way to identify your triggers is to journal and to do a brain dump. It's just going to bring a level of self-awareness to you, and brain dumping will also free a lot of the space in your brain and help with whatever anxiety that you're having, so you can focus on the causes of it. Another thing you can do is look at a feelings chart, and this is going to help you identify what exactly it is you have going on internally. Just paying attention, you can see what triggers are in your life. Some of them, just to name them, are clutter, drugs and alcohol, stress, poor boundaries, lack of sleep, poor nutrition, lack of movement, hormonal changes, and chemical imbalances. I think you just need to be aware of these things. Like, have you been getting enough sleep? If not, maybe log how much sleep you're getting. If you have a lot of stress in your life, maybe it's time to change the people you're surrounding yourself with. You might have to go no contact, if I'm being so honest with you. Because if somebody is affecting your mental health, baby, you have to prioritize your self-care. Going to therapy can also be really helpful because if you speak to your therapist on a regular basis, then they might also be able to help you identify what triggers are going on. There are some triggers, though, that we have less control over. For example, work. Work can be very, very triggering and annoying and stressful for a lot of people. But we can't just quit our jobs because then we might just end up on the street. What you can do is give yourself a full day before work. Instead of just scrolling through your phone, you could be using that time to give yourself a full day to make yourself feel like you have a life outside of work. I know when you're depressed, you're not in the mood to take care of yourself, but guys, you really have to decide that whether or not you're in the mood, you're going to show up for yourself regardless, because no one else is going to do it, honestly. Don't bring your phone into your bed and scroll for hours and hours on end, ruin your sleep schedule, wake up feeling groggy, not accomplish anything the next day, and create another cycle, then wonder why you're depressed. And I'm saying this out of love. I'm really speaking to myself, okay? Another trigger being poor nutrition. Our gut health has a lot to do with our mental health and the way we function. Our bodies need vitamins and minerals to feel energized and to get things done. If that's something that you're not giving yourself, you can easily eliminate a trigger by giving yourself nutritious meals, cooking for yourself. Or if you're gonna DoorDash, maybe go with Chipotle instead of McDonald's, because we're boycotting them anyways. Maybe go with Kava instead of Wendy's. It's just little decisions like that can really help you eliminate those triggers. If you haven't been getting any movement in, you don't have to go run a 5K tomorrow. It's really important that you're being realistic when you make these steps too, because you can't just have this all or nothing mentality that's like, well, I'm not going to do it all, so I'm going to do nothing. You have to be able to meet yourself halfway and compromise and see what you can do what you can do for yourself in this moment. So you may not feel like doing a full workout, but you could at least go for a walk, and that will eliminate the trigger of a lack of movement. Step 3 also kind of ties in with step 4, which is that you have to give yourself real rest and give yourself grace. When you're sitting in bed, rotting, scrolling away, it's not actually rest, because your brain is working so hard to process all of this information and you're not really giving it a break. So you need a real vacation. And it might not be to the Bahamas or Cancun, but you can do it in your own way. You could dance to your favorite music while cleaning your room, and that would give you some form of exercise, some form of movement, and it will declutter your space, so it will be taking away a trigger. That's an example of real rest. Scrolling is not. Another way you can give yourself real rest and relaxation is by carving out alone time. Carve out time to hear your intuition. You can do this through meditation, through being in nature, visualization. There are so many spiritual practices, and you may be a religious person. You may read the Bible or talk to God in your own way, you know? So if that's the case, then it's very, very, very vital that you carve out time to do those things, because those are the things that are actually replenishing your mind, body, and spirit. Those are the things that are actually pouring into you pouring into yourself. It's also very important that even though you got off track, even though you've been struggling, you don't beat yourself up, because that's going to further perpetuate that all or nothing thinking. And again, that type of thinking is not going to get you anywhere. So you have to tell yourself, even though I messed up, even though I am not where I want to be right now and I'm not feeling my best, that's okay. I'm going to take the little steps I can to move forward. Everybody messes up. It's a human thing. Once you've done step 4, taking real rest and giving yourself grace, you can do step 5, which is to set SMART goals. Now, this is one of my favorite steps because Setting SMART goals involves making them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And all of those things are going to help you feel more motivated and feel like your life is taking shape and direction. When you're creating a SMART goal, you have to clearly define your goal and be specific about what you want to accomplish. And it allows you to visualize it. You have to ask yourself, what do I want to achieve and why is it important to me? The next time depression or a feeling of stagnation starts to creep up, that's what's going to keep you going, your why. Make sure when you're doing this, when you're setting your goals, you're not comparing yourself to other people. Because, for example, for me, I could be like, oh, I want to start a YouTube channel and I want to make 100 videos. Now, with those 100 videos, if I tell myself every single video has to get 15,000 views, I will be so discouraged because I will be comparing myself to other YouTubers who aren't even starting in the same place as me, and it's just not realistic. So stuff like that is going to make you very discouraged, and it's going to be easy. It's going to make it easier for you to slip back into depression and being stuck. Make sure your goals are also relevant. Make sure they're personal to you. If your parents want you to be a doctor or a lawyer, you don't have to be a doctor or a lawyer. It has to be something that you actually want. And it also has to align with your objectives and values, the things you want out of life and the things that you believe in. That's another reason why step 1 is so important, being present and tapping into yourself, your intuition, your higher power. And by making your goal time-bound and setting a specific time frame for achieving the goal, it's going to create a sense of urgency. A sense of urgency is going to be the thing that prevents you from rotting away the entire day in bed. Step number 6, take action. Just do it. And I know it's a lot easier said than done, and I know it takes discipline, but you know what you need to do. So why hold yourself back? Why deprive yourself from the future that you want? Do small things that are gonna get you towards your goal. All you have to do is be consistent. You don't have to take huge leaps. You know the story of the tortoise and the hare? That tortoise, he had that heavy shell on his back. His back was big, but he kept moving. He kept it moving while the hare was just slacking. And he got further than him because of consistency. Sustainability is the secret. You're going to want to do something that's sustainable so that you don't end up in the cycle again of falling off and beating yourself up. Instead of being like, oh, I fell off, I'm going to crash diet now. I'm not going to eat anything at all for a whole day. Instead of setting unrealistic goals like that, just say, today, because I ate a lot last night, I'm going to be more mindful about what I'm eating. That is an example of something realistic and sustainable. You gotta choose your heart. Want more for yourself. It is not about being perfect. It is about living in alignment and moving with purpose. Everything is hard. Nothing comes easy in life and nothing comes for free. But you can be lazy and not get what you want, and that's gonna be hard seeing your life go by and not having any of your desires come into fruition. Or you can choose to go after your dreams. And even though that will be hard, it will be so much more rewarding and fulfilling. And it will keep you out of this cycle and negative state of depression and bed rotting. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your habits. Do babies come out of the womb like running a 5K? No. They have to learn how to crawl before they can walk, and then walk before they can run. You are no different, love. So be patient with your manifestations. Be patient with yourself. Love yourself in the meantime and decide that you are enough right now regardless. Self-improvement is really good, but sometimes self-improvement will be the death of you if you decide that you are not enough without losing that weight, that you are not enough without getting that new car. Practice gratitude and love what you have in this moment. Love yourself in this moment, and it will change your perspective and also encourage you to further pursue your goals. If you could just be patient and love yourself in the waiting season and trust that the higher power is handling things, or trust that the things that you are doing are going to have an effect, because it's a rule, it's a universal law that every action has an equal or opposite reaction, then you will see habits are the catalyst to change. You can get 1% better every day and you will end up at 100% sooner or later. So make decisions that are in alignment with the person that you are purposely becoming. Last but not least, step 7 is to celebrate. I am celebrating because I'm almost done with this video and I'm ready to go to sleep. This is one goal checked off my list for the day. If you are happy for me, please like this video, subscribe. I am a full-time student, about to graduate, about to go into the world, and I just really would love to share my content and use this free time that I'm gonna have to create content that inspires y'all, that inspires introspection and empathy. And if that's something you're interested in, as well as fashion, wellness, lifestyle, and artistic content, please, 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 please hit that subscribe button. Okay, now let's get into step number 7. Step number 7 is to romanticize life, like celebrate the small wins. You cannot just wait till you get the thing to feel the feeling. For example, if you want a car because you want freedom, you have to be able to identify with and be grateful for the freedoms that you already have before you can have more. You have to be able to listen to your music blissfully on the train if you can and be grateful for that. And that will emulate the same feeling that you will have in your shiny new car when you're driving, blasting whatever you're blasting. It will also help you feel like things are happening, things are shifting, and things are changing and moving in your life. And that will help prevent you from feeling depressed and feeling like nothing is happening, nothing is working, nothing is this, is that. If you could just celebrate the small wins, you will see that you are making progress and it will make you so much happier, honestly. So with that, I just want to say, please, please, please take some time today to do something for yourself, whether it be cooking yourself a nutritious meal or just doing some breath work, maybe going for a walk, whatever it is, whatever you have to do to get yourself out of this state. Just start somewhere and be present. Be present in this moment. And instead of suppressing your emotions, take care of yourself, please. That concludes the end of this video. If you liked it, please actually like it because the YouTube algorithm needs to know I've worked really hard on it. Also, please subscribe. Again, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And follow me on Instagram at Manuela.incarnate. I have plenty of content coming up, so don't miss out. I hope your day is as beautiful as you are.